Hello everyone, today we're going to be taking an exclusive first look at the FIFINE AmpliGame gaming controller, the D6. This is not just a gaming controller, it's an all-in-one device designed to take your gaming and streaming setup to the next level. But is it worth your money in 2025 with so many other options out there? Let's find out. Spoiler alert, this thing does way more than what you would expect for the price, but does it deliver on its promises? Well, stick around to see the pros and the cons to see if it's a perfect fit for you. All right, so let's break down some specs. The D6 is packed with features that we see for all these types of controllers for OBS or just micro pads. It has 15 programmable buttons for those custom micros, but it also has the built-in audio controls inside the software to allow you to adjust things, including mic, mute, or volume adjustments. Seamless compatibility with PC. It's perfectly fine hooking it up straight to the USB port, no problems or issues there. And of course, it has vibrant RGB lighting that will make your setup pop. It's very similar to the FIFINE A20s and A22s that I've taken a review at, those little gaming speakers. I'll leave them linked down in the description to check out those video reviews so you can see the cycle of the RGB settings because they're literally the same. It's just that this is the D6 and those are speakers. So there's no reason for me to really cover this if I've done it in those videos. Check the links down below. So after testing this for a few games in a few days for streaming, I want to tell you that the tactile feedback feels good. It feels like the Elgato Stream Decks that I have. I have the 15 button one, the Mark 1 with the non-detachable cable here at my YouTube studio desk to control certain things. If me and my brother are doing a podcast or I'm recording and I need to change things around for top down or talking head videos, or I'm using this platform to be able to live stream over on Kick. But at my streaming desk, where I mainly play video games, edit, and stream, I have the Elgato XL, and I've been thinking about and debating of getting another one over there because I've used 2 pages of the actual Stream Deck XL over there. The first page is a whole bunch of controls for Discord, for little sound bites. If somebody comes into stream, it plays like a little clip and stuff like that. Having quick access to be able to type something into Kick's chat, to be able to give somebody a link to my socials, my YouTube, whatever it may be. And on top of that, it allows me to record from there, to go ahead and stream and switch scenes. The second page has more integration with Spotify and just a whole bunch of other programs that I use for streaming and editing because I have a dual PC setup. So most people are not going to be in a situation like I am. But what I do like to use this more so for is on my gaming / editing PC, where I use it for productivity as far as in editing programs or opening up internet or anything like that, but also being able to use this to record gameplay. If I hit a clip in some type of game, then I can quickly hit the macro button on the D6 and record that through NVIDIA Shadowplay or maybe a capture card. And that's what I would use this device for editing programs and for the gaming. Like I said, recapturing a moment that you just had. I think that's going to be perfectly fine for this. But if you have a more complicated setup and you're having a lot of control for maybe other social media platforms, because this only has YouTube and Twitch, again, in the con section. So again, this is just going to be for those who are naturally just having a simplified setup, or maybe for some productivity work, or maybe just gaming and they're using it to control things like Discord, recording clips for their games and just uploading that way. And they're not really necessarily using this for strictly streaming. So that's just what I think of after using this for a little bit. But let's hop into the pros and the cons. Let's start with the pros. Affordable price for all the features that you get, an intuitive design that's easy to set up, as well as a dual functionality for gaming, content creation, as well as a little bit of streaming. The RGB and the white colors are nice to have here, but there are other companies that are starting to release white variants of Stream Deck controllers. So FIFINE is having a little bit of a competition here. And that leads me to believe that it's not perfect. Here's a couple of more cons. Obviously, a slight learning curve to learn that you have what buttons you have mapped if you don't want the text on the button. And if you're new to using a device like that. So, you know, your results may vary, but for most people, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So future editing squid here. I didn't know where to put this, so I'm gonna put it here. Inside of the FineFine D6 controller software, you're allowed to set icons. So you can use icons that are meant for the Stream Deck for Elgato's Stream Deck versions. So you can go to somewhere like Nerdadai, which I'm doing here. You can download one of their free packs for the icon set, and then you can use those icons obviously inside of the FineFine D6 controller. I haven't seen anybody talk about this while reviewing this controller, so I thought I'd put the information out there that yes, there are compatible. I didn't have any issues or anything, but the thing that's going to limit you is that what I'm going to talk about later in the con section is the fact that you don't really have that many options as far as software inside of the D6 software to be able to control. Like if you don't use anything other than the Adobe Suite for editing, then you're going to be fine. But if you're looking to be able to control stuff like your chat or anything like that for Kick or any other streaming platform other than Twitch and YouTube, then you don't have the options to be able to control that. And some of these packs and icon packs are going to have, you know, controls for different streaming sites or different editing programs like DaVinci Resolve, all that stuff. That's not going to be able to be controlled by this controller. So if you're paying for icon packs, just know that you're not going to be able to really use a lot of them because the FineFine D6 software is very limited, at least for right now, of availability of what you can control. But if you're only streaming on Twitch and YouTube and you're using Adobe Suites or Spotify or something like that, then the best safe bet is to go with a free icon pack. So that way you're not wasting money on icons that you probably just won't use at all. And I'll leave the Nerdadai link to their website down in the description. Again, some of these packs are free. So, and I have no affiliation with Nerdadai, but I know some people like to use custom ones. There are a few sets, I think like 4 or 5 sets that are free within the software that you can download and use. But if you don't like those, there's other icons out there, and I'm pretty sure people are making their own custom ones. So look around, see what's available for you, see what you like, and then go from there. The viewing angles though, however, is one of the biggest things that I noticed. This thing sits almost flat to the desk. I'm not sure of the angle or the degree of the angle, but with both Elgato's Stream Decks and other Stream Decks out there that are coming out that is allowing you to do something similar to the FineFine D6 as well as Elgato's Stream Decks, they are coming with the similar backing that we're seeing on the Mark IIs from Elgato, meaning that you have the ability to take the back off and lay the device flat, but attach the back and you have a very, very nice, decent, thought out angle to be able to see all your buttons and hit them. On the FineFine, however, they sit further back. So if you have a desk that has somewhat of a non-normalized depth, more than I would say 25, if you don't, then you're good. If you do, then you might run into some problems because of that viewing angle. Even with my Husky workbenches being around 24 inches in depth, I find that the viewing angle between the Elgato XL or any other devices or any other the competitive devices to the D6 is going to be a little bit better, because from a glance and from your peripheral vision of your eyes while you're gaming or streaming and you want to hit a button, it's easier to see because the button is pretty much almost looking at you, whereas the D6 is laying further back. So you're going to have to actually look down on the device and hit the button. That's just something for me that I noticed. Maybe I'm too integrated into using Elgato Stream Decks with the viewing angles, and maybe it'll take some time to adjust. Maybe somebody out there won't have a problem with this viewing angle, but in my personal experience, I would have liked to have that backing or having an attachment to be able to take off and lay it down if I preferred that, and then having a back that I can attach. Now, maybe in the future, FineFine can release a back to go with the D6, or maybe people who have 3D prints can put them up in Etsy shops or something like that, and you can just buy them, who knows. But at least at the time of release and the time of me reviewing, the viewing angles for me, it kind of is a deal breaker. Let's get to the biggest pro and con section. Who is this for? If you're a gamer that streams or someone who needs a compact solution for both gaming and audio control, then the FineFine D6 is definitely worth considering. But if you're strictly a gamer, you could probably get by without this, honestly, unless you just like the features of having the ability to pop up an internet tab, Maybe you have some friends, which most gamers do nowadays, and they play multiplayer games, and you have Discord and you want a little bit of Discord integration, then of course this can do it. But there probably are cheaper options out there, or you can just use your keyboard to be able to set up the Windows hotkeys and just do it that way. But if you wanted a dedicated macro pad, this is going to be able to facilitate that. And like I said, in your setup, it being white, having RGB, the black one has RGB as well. Depending on your setup, I mean, it's gonna look nice. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's gonna look nice, especially with those options. It's just those viewing angles for me is kind of the deal breaker. But for those who are doing productivity and, like I said, gaming, and they have a 60% or 75% keyboard and they prefer to have a macro pad, this is going to be perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, I've said it multiple times when reviewing FIFINE products, they always do sales. So this is probably even going to be even cheaper, depending on the time of you watching this video, than the normal listed price. So that's also a plus. But the biggest deal breaker, I think, for other people out there, and not just me, is that in their software, there's not a lot available here as far as integration with other programs than, I would say, the mainstream programs. Taking editing, for example, or any kind of editing suites. The only thing that you're really going to find here is Adobe suites. So if you use anything else like Wondershare Filmora, DaVinci Resolve, or CapCut, or any other editing program out there, which are starting to get more popular than just having Adobe After Effects or Adobe Lightroom or whatever it is from Adobe, you're kind of just waiting for that integration to appear into the software, which is not even known to anybody if that's going to come down the pipeline. So that might be a disadvantage to FIFINE being a little bit late to the game, because you can find similar controls like that through, Elgato and the Stream Deck. Now, with those editing software, however, if they have Windows hotkeys, then you can just assign those to the Windows hotkey functionality on the D6. But then you run into the fact that it only has 15 programmable buttons. And those people are going to say, well, you can have infinite pages, you can have infinite, folders, whatever, just like with the Elgato Stream Deck and other devices. But the problem is that's why I got the XL one, because I don't want to have to keep going through infinite folders and switching pages. That's why I said that with the FIFINE D6 on my stream, I wish that it had an XL version, because I think that would be more applicable to people who are gaming and doing content creation, because half of those buttons could be for recording gameplay, doing whatever, and the other half could be for the productivity as far as editing or quick commands, so they don't have to hit multiple buttons on the keyboard, because some people like 60% keyboards and they don't want to upgrade to anything else. Having this as a substitute to be able to functionally do those things, or maybe having 15 buttons for gaming use in Discord, and then they swap to page 2, and the page 2 was all their editing, I would say, shortcuts. So again, that's where I think this would lie. I think that's where a lot of people will purchase this. But going back to streaming, I don't think streamers should pick this device up. If you're going to do gaming, streaming, and do other forms of content creation like editing, this is probably not for you. And I hate to say it, but you're probably better off going with the Elgato stuff, just because they have more integration with other streaming services and platforms, and they have third-party people who are making plugins and shortcuts and their own little third-party stuff to be able to integrate with the Stream Deck. And the reason why I say that is because if you're not streaming on YouTube and Twitch, and you stream on platforms like Rumble, Kick, whatever else is out there, they're not going to have, I would say, the compatibility with this device to put stuff in chat, do timers or anything like that. Anything on those platforms that you could do with the Stream Deck, which again, I stream on Kick. So I need the Stream Decks to be able to integrate with that functionality. Now you do get like Stream Elements control for OBS. You do get the regular OBS controls, but just seeing what's available here, the list is very short. And from what I've seen of reviews of other controllers like this that are coming out, the software seems eerily similar to what's available. So they're pretty much just waiting for API or waiting for people to, I guess, come to the platform and start integrating, third-party plugins. I did see stuff like third-party plugins from Bar, who does software integration for the Stream Deck, and Elgato's I would say, ecosystem, and they also do stuff for like Spotify and other things. So that's somewhat available here on this device, but it's very limited, at least right now. And again, there's no telling if they're going to get further updates down the line through the pipeline, which you can start having integration with Kick and other streaming platforms, as well as having the integration for other editing suites. So as of right now, if you're only using Adobe, it's perfectly fine. If you're going to only use this to control Discord and record some gameplay or something like that, then you're going to be good to go. If your editing suite has hotkeys or Windows hotkeys that you can set up, and you can put like numpad 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, and then you can assign numpad 1, 2, 3, 4 on this device, then you're going to be good to go. But again, if you're only going to use this to control OBS, maybe switch scenes, and that's it, then you're going to be fine too if you're using OBS or Stream Elements OBS. But if you are looking to really flesh out your stream and have a really engaging stream, and you're really trying to take it, I would say, somewhat seriously, and on top of that, you're gaming and all that stuff, 15 buttons, in my personal opinion, is not enough. And on top of that, it's not enough here in the software, at least at the time of recording, to be able to tell you, hey, go ahead and pick this up. So those are the two camps I think most people are going to, I would say, sit in. And I would recommend this device if, again, you're gaming, you're controlling Discord, and maybe you're doing some light editing, but you're not streaming. Essentially, that's what it is. I wouldn't use this for streaming. And it's weird because they say stream controller in the name. That's kind of sad in my personal opinion, but I'm just going to be honest. But I want to know what you guys think. Is the FIFINE D6 the future of hybrid gaming controllers at the price point, knowing that FIFINE always does sales, and the potential of getting those cons rectified by future updates? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And if you want to grab one, then check out the link in the description to see the current pricing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for more budget-friendly tech, because FIFINE is also sending out some other stuff. With all that being said, y'all take care. Have a squid-tastic day. God bless you and yours. And deuces, everybody. Much love.